Hey guys, Rocambasco here, and welcome back to another Far Cry challenge. Today I chose to use the flare gun, a gun so chaotically versatile it had to have been wielded by Satan himself. Not only does it sometimes kill dudes in one shot, but it can also be used to destroy corruption. And rocket launchers? Pfft, oh please, a flare gun will do. But that doesn't mean that the flare gun isn't without its flaws, but I'll get to that in just a minute. Now, intro time. Jason and his cliché friend group go skydiving. They get captured by pirates, and Vaas tries to show me his dick pics. The events of Far Cry 3 take place after Thanos snapped his little phalanges, and unfortunately for Vaas, he had a dick transplant a few years beforehand, and since his new dick belonged to someone else, it counted as a separate person, so his dick turned to dust. And that's probably why he hates men so much. He's jealous of their dicks. I mean, he could get another dick transplant, but that's besides the point. Anyway, we escape from third world jail, my bro gets a new body piercing, a couple dogs and I fall into the water, I become allies with a hand, and the intro ends. Now, I should explain a few rules before we venture further into the Rook Islands. Fails are counted anytime I have to kill an enemy with something other than my flare gun, with the exception of quicktime events or destroying inanimate objects, because quicktime events are bullshit. I don't think they should be counted as total fails, but they should still be acknowledged, and that's why I classify them as semi-fails. And so far I'm sitting at one semi-fail, because in the intro I rejected a pirate's gift. Sorry, but I'm allergic to death, and out here in the jungle, there's no fucking EpiPens. Turns out the hand from earlier was attached to a man named Dennis. He gives me $60 to spend on a handgun, and luckily I didn't need a weapon just yet. Although sooner or later I would have to start killing people and Rook Island's wildlife population, but the flare gun was $500. So after I activated the first radio tower, I looked all around for any loot boxes I could find, and eventually I got enough money to buy the key to the challenge. Now's probably a good time to talk about the flare gun's flaws. The first obvious one is that pitiful amount of ammo it comes with. Starting out, I only get a maximum of 4 flares, and with the amount of pirates that are constantly spawning on the island, this wasn't going to be enough for most encounters. But the first 2 missions I went on were quite easy, since I just had to cook some pigs in the first one. And then in the second one, I had to cook a few more pigs, but the Rakiat were there to help a fella out. After I just barely got past the previous mission, I made it my priority to upgrade my ammo capacity as much as I could, as early as I could. However, I couldn't fully upgrade it because I needed to hunt a golden tiger with a bow. And it's pretty obvious I couldn't do that, so I was stuck with only 13 flares for the rest of the game. So fuck you, you golden tiger bitch. The second biggest flaw with this revolutionary piece of modern weaponry is its crippling slow reload speed. I've witnessed the pirates of the island find a nice woman, get the clap, get married, have kids, and die. And by the time said pirate had lived his life to the fullest, I was just starting to figure out how to eject the used flare from the chamber. I couldn't even get the skill to reload faster because it was locked behind this skill, which requires you to do 3 takedowns, so in essence I was fucked. The flare gun's last flaw, which is arguably the worst part about it, is the fact that you can't put custom paint jobs on it. My wallet was constantly full throughout this entire playthrough, and I couldn't even pimp my gun. Disgusting. By the way, if you're enjoying the video, consider leaving a like, a comment, and subscribing. The first major mission was Infiltrating the Medusa. It's guarded by pirate people and pirate sharks, so nowhere was safe. But I had a game plan, and not even sharks can stop a blue shirt white boy when he's got a plan. Use the jet ski to get within range of the pirates, epically park the jet ski, scout the area like a boss, kill the big cheese, loot the big cheese, fail the mission because stealth, ignore stealth because checkpoints, break into ship, and defend your goddamn life. Honestly, killing all the pirates was a piece of cake, and this is where I really got to examine the flare gun's combat capabilities. It's accurate as fuck, and anyone who gets within maybe a 3 or 4 foot radius of where the flare lands will catch on fire and turn the mean pirates into dead pirates. Even the big armored LMG idiots are super weak to the flare gun, that is if you get a direct hit. The flare gun doesn't always work the way it's supposed to, but overall, it's a beast. It was pretty common for me to just barely have enough ammo to get by, even with the ammo upgrades. But sometimes the gods would favor my odds by giving me an explosive stash where I could refill my ammo. Anyway, after that there's the mission where I gotta save the damsel in distress, and then later she'll have no choice but to reward me for being so goddamn heroic. Vaas wants to burn us alive, but little does he know he's only helping me. He's just making me look cooler, because escaping from a burning building is about an 11 on the coolness scale. But then he bamboozles me by putting a stupid door in my path, and there's absolutely no way around it, so I bitterly introduce you all to semi-fail number 2. The two of us escape, and I have to use the grenade launcher, but I say fuck that, and I switch to my flare gun, and it's actually more effective than the grenade launcher. Combining the flare gun's accuracy with my awesome gamer aimer makes it OP, because for some reason any vehicle that comes into contact with the flare will instantly die. Even when I was forced to use my pistol, I just sat there until the explosive barrel felt suicidal, and he took the pirates out with him. A few missions later, and we meet Agent Aviators. He claims to be an American spy, but from the way he dresses, I could tell that he was actually a smooth criminal. A smooth criminal with a goddamn flamethrower. But I reject his offer because anything a normal gun can do, the flare gun can sometimes do 10 times better. I had to go to the drug fields and rid this rotten world of nature's corruption. And this mission was actually pretty tricky because if I died, I would have to start it all over again, and there was a buttload of pirates and dogs. But luckily, they were pretty stupid sometimes and would just stand in the drug fields as their flesh sizzled in the weed barbecue. After I destroyed the last field, there's a cocaine boat trying to get away, but the only person who's guarding it just has a machete, and he's too busy dancing to stop me because just like the vehicles in the escape mission, the boat has a crippling weakness to flares. The guard tries to redeem himself, but I burn him alive, I escape, and the mission ends. Next, there's that whole mission where you have to save Ollie. Pretty easy, except for the fact that, oh yeah, the game forces you to fail the flare gun only challenge. There's absolutely no way to stop the coming hell. You have no control over your actions, except for being able to melee briefly before you're forced to become one with the sniper rifle. And if I do nothing, Ollie dies because he can't hit shit with his AK. So I had to accept the first official fail of the challenge. I couldn't help but sit there and do nothing in the escape portion of the mission. Well, except maybe heal about 100 times. I just sat there in a state of sadness and shock that made time seem to slow down. My very aura of depression made helicopters crash, and Ollie himself became depressed. But we returned to the Cave of Friendship where my other friends are, and I beat the mission. After the first fail, things just got worse from here. There's that whole portion with Buck, but in every mission I ran by everyone, retrieved a piece of the compass, and peaced out. There was some points where I had to shoot some beams, but the flare gun works on them. And there was a quicktime event with an alligator that I couldn't avoid, so that's semi-fail number 3. Even killing Buck was a quicktime event, so I guess that's semi-fail number 4. But yeah, I was sick of Buck fucking Keith, so it was my turn to fuck Buck. Keith was clearly traumatized, so he rewards Jason by traumatizing him and lying about his brother's death.
Riley's dead. Riley's dead.
Thanks, bro. Next I was sent to take out a convoy and save some prisoners, and this mission was super hard. It took me nearly an hour to beat because I needed to perfectly use my flares and distract the enemies from killing the Rakiat pals. But when there was 2 dudes left, I hopped in the truck, chased down the armored vehicle, and I get a visit from my favorite dickless fuck. After taking a bath in some dead bodies, I drink some bottled virtual reality, and I have to fight the Ooga Booga guy from Crash Bandicoot. He may have been an ally to me in my youth, But today, he's just another piece of shit, because he's the cause of fail number 2. I have to give him a facelift with explosive arrows, because he may be an enemy, but I was determined to make him beautiful. I finish the fight by stabbing him in the eye, and then I wake up to a girl who's on Pen Island. Ugh, gross jungle woman. When the jungle woman finally left Pen Island, I went to Vaas's island, and there was a lot of explosive ammo caches here, so I kept killing and restocking until his doors opened, and then I confronted Vaas. Unfortunately, there wasn't any fire laying around this time, so the arena we fought in was a boring one. So I got it over with quickly by stabbing him 10 billion times, which is the 5th semi-fail. And when I reached the second island, I met the coolest German in the world, and then I had to get my hands on a privateer outfit to blend in with the big boys, so I could easily kill Hoyt. This is where I encounter the third fail, because I had to kill the bitch to get his outfit, and the only way of killing him is with a takedown. A few missions later, and I had to help Sam defuse some bombs. The mission itself isn't too hard, so I let Sam kill enemies while I saved ammo. But right before the mission ends, a helicopter comes to say what's up. I shot it with the 3 remaining flares I had, but for some reason, helicopters are invulnerable to flares? Which is completely illogical, so I had no choice but to take it out with the LMG, which is now the 4th fail of the challenge. Seriously though, I don't understand why some vehicles are super weak to the flare gun, and then others are tanks, but either way we've already tremendously failed the challenge, so it's not like an extra fail will make or break the challenge. There's a lot of missions on Island 2 where you have to destroy shit with C4, so at this point there's just too many goddamn semi-fails to keep track of. The last fail of the game takes place in the final mission. Riley and I have to escape via helicopter, and there's a fuck ton of enemies trying to take us out. And if I sit there and do nothing, we die. The farthest I could make it without doing anything was about halfway through the ride, so I had no choice but to mow down everything in our path. Even after using the LMG, we just barely made it, so that's now the 5th fail of the challenge. To wrap up the game, my friends get abducted, I save them, Dennis kills the jungle bitch, we escape the island, and I beat the game. So was I able to beat Far Cry 3 with only the flare gun? Not even close. I've never failed a challenge so horribly so far, so this challenge really made me question God's existence. Well, thanks for watching, consider leaving a like, a comment, and subscribing, and I'll see you all in the next one.